and welcome to another episode of the Six Pack Show. My name is Nahmu, and here we are with episode 6. So here we are in this small but cozy ambulance van, as you can see. But it's not exactly for just human medical purposes. It's more for pets. Here, Mika, come over here. Mika, hey, come over here.
She can't go nowhere.
Here, come here. And as you can see, this is my dog named Mika, and she is our special feature for this episode. She may not be just the only star for this show. This is a place where pets actually get themselves groomed in this van, and this van is just, I'd say, about just almost everywhere within southeast Michigan. Am I correct?
And northern Michigan.
And northern Michigan. So it's not just me just saying this is only from this specific city, but specific areas here in Michigan. But without further ado, let me introduce you to Tracy Delaney, right? Delaney, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So, why don't you just tell a little bit about yourself?
Well, I actually started out as in high school, in cosmetology school, thinking that that's what I was going to do with my life, was work on people, beautify them, and I absolutely hated it. I got 1,100 hours of the 1,500 hours, and I said, this is not something I want to do. So when I turned 18, I took a job as an intern, learning how to dog groom, bathe, everything that you can imagine when it comes to grooming your pet. Loved it, knew that was what I really was meant to do, and completely forgot about cosmetology. It all became about the pets. So I've been doing it about 34 years, up until my car accident. And I just always loved what I did. To me, it wasn't work, it was just what I do.
How did you get into loving pets? How did you get to love,
I grew up in a family of pet owners, lovers. My earliest picture as a child was laying in the crib, and our black lab had his nose on my belly. Just always had a pet. I can't imagine growing up without one. I can't imagine not having one in our lives. They just have done so much for me, and I go to family functions and everybody brings their dogs. I mean, that's just the way we are. We just love them.
With this ambulance, right? This is one of your biggest factor of your business, especially when you're going around in Michigan. And from what you told me before, that you have about 5 ambulances going around in Michigan.
Yes.
How do you procure those ambulances?
Well, when I had a storefront, it actually started because I had a storefront and a lot of my clients were elderly. So I would pick up their dogs in the morning, bring them to my pet store / grooming salon. But the problem I had with that was they would have to sit in the kennel most of the day. Even though they got groomed in between, I had to still run the store. And I said, this isn't fair to the dogs. I don't want to kennel a dog. I didn't like the fact that when I had a salon, I had to keep them in a kennel 80% of the day. And, it's just the way it goes. You rotate dogs when you have a salon. So I said to the person I was with at the time, I said, I am going to take the salon to them. And he looked at me and he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going mobile. I'm going to take the salon to their house. I'm going to groom the dog in the driveway. He said, you're crazy. You're never going to make a go of that. You're going to fail. It really made me angry, and I worked extra hard to show him. And I decided to get a mobile vehicle, but I was trying to decide what kind of vehicle, because I am claustrophobic. I don't like confined spaces like our dogs don't. So I said, geez, I don't know what I want to get, but I want something with some space in it. And somebody said, what about an ambulance? And I said, an ambulance? I said, it's perfect. You got your cabinets, high quality, you got your lighting, you got your heat, you got everything in there. I said, well, that might work. So I started searching Craigslist, and I actually found my first ambulance down in Jackson, Michigan. So I made the trip down, bought it, brought it back. Took me about 4 months. Really the only thing we change in these is there's a bench seat on this side. That's the only difference that we try to do in these ambulances. I like to keep them original. I like people walking in and saying, well, that's an ambulance. Well, no, it's a Groombulance. But we take the side bench out, we put the water heater in, we put the water tank in, the tub. Different ambulances have different tubs. We're trying to decide which tub we want to make the tub. So we're kind of trying out many different styles and kinds. But yeah, that's how it all began. I just found an ambulance, put the tub and the plumbing in, and by the first day that I was up and running, I had 100 new clients on a waiting list.
Wow.
And there's just been so many reasons to use it. You know, if you can't drive, we'll come to you. If you have a hard time getting your elderly dog in the car, or the dog is big and it doesn't like to go in a car, there's so many reasons. People use it because they work so much. They can't get to a salon during their hours, and they don't have the time to take their dog there in the morning, drop it off, leave it all day. And if they're far away from the salon, they've either got to find something to do, so they're spending money that they probably don't want to spend while they're waiting, or they got to drive home and then come back and pick their dog up at the end of the day. Meanwhile, the dog's sitting in a cage about 85 to 90% of the time during that process, because like I said, they rotate them. They take them out, they bring them in the morning, they rough them in, which is nails, teeth, ears, hygiene cut. Put them in the kennel, or they bathe them, and then they sit in the kennel drying. Then, you know, they groom them. All the groomers have different styles. They do things in different orders, but that's pretty much the gist of how it works in a salon. So you got these people that have schedules that cannot make it to a salon, so therefore their pet suffers. They get matted, they get filthy. You know, a lot of dogs have problems with their anal glands, just all kinds of reasons. And I started getting all these clients. Here I am thinking that I was starting this business for my elderly clients and it was going to help them out, and it became this huge thing where, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. You know, I've got this going on in my life, I can't get to a salon. And my customers just started calling, building my clientele, and it's never stopped. It's never slowed down.
And because of that, you've been able to, like, you know, get so much reputation by just like doing your own unique thing with the pets, right?
Yes. Yes. That, and I'm a perfectionist. I don't like to leave one hair on a dog that it's not supposed to be there, and you know, that's good and bad sometimes, but you know, I enjoyed what I did, and it was such a thrill to me to take this dog in that was just matted to the skin. You know, they're miserable. You know, a lot of them have sores underneath those mats from the bacteria forming. You know, you peel those coats off and you start making them beautiful. The dog knows they're beautiful. They're so much happier. They feel better. You take them into the clients, and clients are just thrilled. You know, I've had clients that have hugged me, you know, and cried, you know, because they just are so happy that their pet looks better, feels better, smells better.
What about cats?
Yes, we do cats.
And iguanas?
We've actually had a lot of strange critters in our rigs. We had a horse one time that tried to get in.
Oh, really?
I said, dude, if you could fit, I would do you in here. You know, I'd take care of you. But he couldn't get through the door. So, but we've done rabbits. I'm versed at doing birds. I can do the wings and the nails. We've done ferrets, lizards, of course. We've done those. Tortoises. Just turtles, about anything that fits through the door, we do it.
What about tarantulas?
I draw the line there.
With the COVID-19 like still going around, right? How do you make sure that the clients are, you know, safe from, you know, spreading the COVID-19?
Well, our business is different than a lot of businesses because the groomer's in here with your pet. We don't need to see you other than for you to open your front door and hand the dog out. We don't need to go into your home. You don't need to come in here if you don't want, although I do tell people if you want to see your dog being groomed or your cat, you're more than welcome to come in and sit. I tell them as long as the pet tolerates you in here, the groomer will tolerate you in here. There are some pets that are like little kids that are, when they're around their parents, they're worse. And the minute the parent steps out, they're back to being sweet and, you know, adorable. So it just really depends on your pet, you know, but the difference with us is we don't have to have great contact with humans. Just give us your dog, let us come into our world and beautify your pet, and then we'll give it back to you. So I think because of that, it's helped us through COVID, because without having a building that people, you know, come into and, you know, put germs down if they're sick, whatever, we don't have that. This is, you know, we clean up, we have bleach sprays and everything else, but we don't get a lot of foot traffic in here. The first pet I remember in my life, like I told you before, was a big black lab. His name was Herbie, and that was one of the smartest dogs, looking back, that I've ever experienced in my life. You could literally take a steak, set it on the floor in front of him, and say, "Don't touch that, Herbie." And he would sit there and he would cry and his mouth would drool, but he wouldn't touch it.
I'm guessing it has been a while now, right? And that dog has...
Oh yes, he passed. Yep.
So, like, here's the thing, like, Mika is my first dog. Honestly, like, the moment she just came into my life, I love her. Now, one of the biggest fears I have is, like, having, like, a pet death and how to cope with it. So, like, how would you cope with, like, a pet's death? Like, especially
People
for those,
grieve. And you know, some people that aren't pet people don't understand, but when we lose our dogs, we grieve as if they're one of our family. They are one of our family. And the grief is real. I've heard that they have grief support groups out there for pet owners that have lost their pets, and I think those are a wonderful thing, because like I said, people that aren't pet people just don't get it. There's such a bond that you create with your animal, whether it be a cat, dog, hamster, whatever. And it cannot be overlooked that we grieve just as if they were human. And you know, you go through the grieving process and it sucks. It's terrible. But you know, you have to go through it. And you know, the thing is, when you lose a pet, take some time, do your grieving process, but just know that sometime in the near future there is going to be another pet out there that needs your love, that needs you to adopt them or to get them as a puppy, however you want to do it. I'm not against either one. I think adoption in humane societies are absolutely wonderful. But just know that when it happens, go through your grieving process, but don't run right out and get another one, because it's like a rebound on a relationship. It doesn't always work out because you're trying so hard to replace that pet, and you're never going to do it. There's never going to be another Mika. You know, there's never going to be another her. So I always tell people when they lose pets, because I have a lot of clients that lose pets, and I feel so bad for them. And you know, the thing is, I tell them, you know, just take your time. Take your time. You're going to find the right dog when it's the right time. You know.
Seems like you have a lot of experience just to go through with that.
I've lost a lot. I had a house fire in 2015, and I lost everything. I was so devastated. I lost dogs, I lost cats, I lost bearded dragons, I lost the town's special. I had a sulcata tortoise named Jacoby. He was about this big. He was probably 25 pounds when he died, but he was more like a dog. He would follow me around the house, he would lay with the dogs, he loved kittens. And when I lost all that, I could not, it was such a time of grief for me. The only thing that healed me was I still had this business, and I still could go every day and love on everybody else's pets, and it healed my soul. But it took me 5 years. I finally bought another parrot, and he is something else. Rio, he's a scarlet macaw, and he gets about 90% of my time every day. He takes a lot of time, but I had to go through that grieving process, and it took me a long time to where I was ready. As you can see, it's very calm in here. We don't have any kennels. We don't have any other barking dogs, no other meowing cats, no other things in here. It is just one-on-one, 100% focus on your pet, and they love it. You know, 99% of the dogs that come through here, once they get in here, they calm down. One of the things is they can look out these windows and see that they are at home. They're not in a vet's office. They're not in a building where they can't see their home. And I've had such a different outlook on the dogs as they come in here. Dogs that I groomed for years that had some anxiety issues. Once I started doing this and I brought them in here and it was just them and I and no other noise, no confusion going on, I was like, wow, that dog was so much better this time. They love it. And the fact that, like I said, they can see their house, you know, they're like, okay, I'll let you do this for a while. I can see my mom, you know, or whatever. So it's, you know, it's been a really good experience. And I'm getting a lot of great feedback from my customers. You know, they have a lot of dogs with anxiety issues, or sometimes you get a dog that is fear aggressive, that they don't necessarily, they're not vicious, but when they get put in a position where they see another animal, they go into what they call fear aggression, which is they get into this red zone very quickly and they want to attack because they're afraid of being attacked. So it's more like kill or be killed type mentality on some of these dogs. And it's been very helpful with dogs with fear aggression because they come in here and there's no reason for them to be fearful. We also try to educate people because when we get a pet in that is just really in bad shape, and you know, we see a lot of that during COVID, people are afraid to go out, and it's understandable, or they can't find a place open. We try to educate people. We get a lot of dogs that when they get matted, especially, okay, so let's use a Shih Tzu for an example, a Shih Tzu Maltese. Most of the consistencies of those hairs tend to knot. Not so much a Maltese with the knotting, but let's just say a Shih Tzu. Shih Tzus can come in different forms and fashions. Their hair can be different, but a lot of them tend to knot. And once that knot sets in and just sits there, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Well, then it sits on the skin, and then it creates a sore underneath there, and it'll sweat, and then bacteria forms. Once that happens, you get hot spots, you get yeast infections. So when we see things like this on your pets, we educate people. We say, okay, this is what we found. You know, we tell them, okay, we recommend you take them to the vet, whatever. Or if it's something they can do at home to maybe help the pet out, to be more comfortable. Coconut oil, we're a huge fan of. We use that a lot for healing. But we try to educate them. We try to explain why this happened, or explain what they can do to help the situation. Now, obviously, if there's a situation we see in a pet that needs vet care, we immediately tell the owner, you know, this is what we found on your pet. We're recommending you take it to the vet.
Is there anything that you want to say about the COVID-19, or to like people who are just like starting out their business, or just like, you know, just...
Don't give up. You know, always, you know, no matter what, there's going to be bad days, and especially small businesses like mine that start out with no capital. You just literally work your butt off. Every cent I have made forever has went right back into the business because I have a vision, I have a dream for the future, and nothing's going to change that. But all I can say to people is this is short-lived in a lifespan of what we're going through, this COVID, everything else. Just know that it's going to get better. We're going to get through this. And that's the mentality you have to have, especially in today and what we're going through, is you cannot give up. You have to always see that tomorrow's going to be better. You know, today might really, really, really suck, but tomorrow's got to be better.
Thank you again just watching this episode, and if you are like a pet owner and just looking for grooming around southeastern Michigan or up north, make sure you head up with Tracy and she can see what she can do for you, especially during this COVID times. And thank you again, Tracy, just, you know, inviting us into your, you know, a small, cozy little, and Groombulance. And also, check out your website. Can you say what's
yes,
the website?
It's Groombulance. It's Groombulance. I know it's a long word, but groombulance.com. And you can catch me there or on Facebook, and, you know, reach out to me.
Well, like I said on every end of the episode, be smart, stay safe, and be friendly. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.